The reveal of Tom Clancy's The Division all those years ago at E3 2013 was interesting, to say the least. In the midst of so many survival-oriented games on consoles, it was the same year The Last of Us released on PS3 after all, it immediately garnered interest for its MMO structure. Developer Ubisoft Massive didn't offer too much information at that point, but with the closed beta currently ongoing, talks of downgrade out of the way, and intensive analysis done, we're set to analyze The Division's graphics. As always, these findings are based off of a closed beta, and things can change significantly with the final game's launch. When Ubisoft Massive presented The Division, it also introduced us to a curious new engine called Snowdrop. In an interview with Making Games, brand art director Rodrigo Cortez talked about creating an engine that was about more than just brute force. Rather, it would use resources intelligently, and instead of balancing between high-fidelity visuals versus content, the development team wanted to create an engine that could offer both. Cortez even commented, stating that, "In my opinion, it has already been proven what the new console generation is capable of if you give the developers enough time and if they know exactly which resources they can make use of." Development on the Snowdrop engine began 5 years ago in the lead-up to Ubisoft acquiring Massive Entertainment, and it's grown organically ever since then. Written in 64-bit with the goal of accessing individual threads and efficiently utilizing memory, Snowdrop's features include dynamic global illumination, procedural destruction, and a heavy amount of effects. How much of that plays into the PC version, which we've noted as the closest the Division gets to its initial E3 2013 reveal? To start with, it's packed to the brim with options: contact shadows, post-FXAA, shadow quality, streaming distance, shadow resolution, and even wind-affected snow can be customized. For those worried that the PC version would compromise on visual quality, especially since it wasn't initially planned along with the console versions, you can rest easy. Performance is similarly impressive. The Division on PC is GPU bound, and we tested it on 2 configurations. The average frame rate on an AMD FX 8350 and Radeon R9 4GB was 48 FPS, while an NVIDIA GeForce GTX Titan 6GB offered a solid 60 FPS frame rate. Make sure your GPU is up to snuff though. Ubisoft Massive wasn't kidding about its recommended PC settings. Obviously, the PC version looks superior to consoles thanks to better textures, improved draw distances, better shadow quality, and support for 60 FPS. On top of that, the PC version is extremely well optimized, and we look forward to seeing how much it improves with the final build. As for the Xbox One and PS4 versions of the closed beta, they're both capped at 30 FPS. Performance across both is similar with minimal drops during cutscenes, but as a whole, they offer a solid 30 FPS frame rate. The console versions have their issues though. At times the shadows of NPCs go missing, and we also notice the player character's self-shadow missing on occasion. The lack of motion blur can be pretty jarring at 30 FPS, but at least the post-processing AA offered stable image quality on both versions. Texture streaming issues were spotted on the PS4 version, with textures on hoardings noticeably loading a bit late. The Xbox One version suffered from issues with level of detail where certain objects and NPCs would load much later. Though these 2 issues didn't occur all the time, they were still present all the same. One of the bigger surprises from the Division on consoles is the graphic options available, much like Project Cars. You can change image sharpness and chromatic aberration to modify image quality. While these are purely subjective at the end of the day, it is pretty cool to be able to switch off chromatic aberration if you don't like it. Hopefully, more developers follow this trend with their AAA releases. If you want to experience the best visuals that the closed beta for the Division has to offer, then the PC version is the way to go. The PS4 and Xbox One versions were never going to meet the same standard, but they still offer decent performance all around and an enjoyable experience at this stage.
If you like what we're doing, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. See you soon!